Welcome to Rockville. Unadilla! Woo! Best weekend ever. Unadilla Motocross National. And then I picked up 50 classic two-strokes ranging from a 1974 CR250 right up to a brand new AF. Stay tuned. It's going to be the best trailer unload video ever. Absolutely the best weekend ever. You guys going to absolutely love what I got to show you here. And we're starting off with a sea of yellow bananas right here. And why is there a mattress on the top? Well, I pulled these all out of a big barn that had a shop in it, and I bought my little mattress right here, and I slept there, and I posted that on Instagram, and Taylor's like, Dad, why are you doing that? We're not broke anymore. And you know, sometimes I like to just like go back to my roots, you know, just roughing it, you know. And there's nothing like going to the National and hanging out with all my people there. I saw so many people stopped up and said hello, took a picture with me. It was so awesome. The races were killer. Shimoda was absolutely flying. And we saw Jet wrap up the championship. Deegan will probably wrap it up this weekend. But anyways, back to the case at point here. Look at these Suzukis, guys. And then we got a sea of Cowies and a sea of Hondas, all two-strokes. The first one right here is a classic 1979 RM125. Let's get her unloaded. Not one trailer, there's two massive trailers. And guess what? You know you had a great weekend? Check this out. Not only did I get to go to the National and hang out with all my people, but to see some killer racing and pick up these bikes. But you know you had a good weekend when you have so many bikes in your trailer that you got to put 3 Makos in the back of it, 2 Sand Spiders and a 490 Big Bore. James' trailer is loaded for Barrett. We got a ton of killer parts too. Classic 79 RM125 still has the fork stickers and the original clear coating on the forks. Some killer oversized pegs and a set of Fox shocks on it with aluminum swing arm. This one will clean up like a new penny. Next one off the fun bus is another classic RM. This one's sporting the DG head. It's got some performance shocks on there, carbon fiber silencer, black sprocket, Maxxis tires, new seat cover. This one's going to be really something special when we're done. We're going to fire them all up. We're going to restore all these to like brand new condition and fire them all up. And then you guys are going to get to hear them run. And it'll be like a flashback to the last 40 years of motocross, starting in 74, right up to a modern aluminum frame 500 and everything in between. Screaming yellow Zonker. Check out this flying banana RM250 with the factory Fox shocks on there. Definitely a cool piece of retro moto. I rode most of these when we were at Mark's place. My buddy Mark called me a few months ago and said he wanted to sell his collection. And it's like a 5-hour ride up to his place. It's north, and I was looking at the map. It just happened to be about an hour north of Unadilla, 40 minutes north of Unadilla. So after I left the Unadilla National at 6:30 on Saturday night, go ahead, put it on the stand right there. 6:30 on Saturday night, and I went up to his house. I left around 6. So I got to his house by 7, and we started firing up all the bikes. We had a blast. We were riding the bikes till like 10 o'clock at night under the lights. He's got a really nice compound up there, and he's got a beautiful shop. His kids are really awesome riders and racers. His whole family rides and races. And he bought a Gas 300 off of Junior. He was just downsizing his collection and investing the money someplace else. But it was a kind of bittersweet. Let his old bikes go, but he got a brand new Gas 300 GP from Junior. So next one off the bus is another Suzuki. This one's an RM400 1979. Look at this bad boy. The Olin shocks. Big bore, 2-stroke. We're okay. Hopefully we're not on fire, are we? So yeah, we're gonna keep them rolling. Guys, pardon the interruption, but August 29th, that's it, man. We're running out of time. It's right around the corner. We're gonna be pulling the ticket to this 2025 Gas 450 Factory Edition that we loaned to Justin BARCIA and rode it at Southwick. It's got 3 hours on the time meter from what he rode it and I rode it. It's signed by Justin BARCIA. It includes a set of his riding gear. And there's $10 at KaplanCycles.com. Go get your ticket. Someone's going to win. Might as well be you. Guys, next one off is one of the first year liquid cool. I think this one's an 82 full floater Suzuki RM125. Killer vintage race machine. Gold chain and sprockets, gold rims. These were all sitting in the barn a little dusty. Mark and his sons hadn't been riding them for a while, but all of them fired right up, and we got to ride them around. Another screaming yellow Zonker, Suzuki RM125 2-stroke. It was an awesome time to be a motocrosser. The technology was advancing so quickly in just a few years that there was no production rules. So the factory bikes, they would be absolutely insanely trick every year. Here's a little later model of the Suzuki RM125. I think this one's an 88 full floater. Seriously cool piece. Christy, my honey, Christy's gonna be really busy doing graphics, I can tell you that much. All these bikes are gonna get new graphics, new plastics, new chains and sprockets. We'll do complete restos on all of them, so you'll be able to see and hear how they used to be back in the day. They'll all look like factory race bikes when we're done with them. Zilla, the big bore air-cooled monster. I don't know if you ever had a chance to ride one of these or watched any of our videos, but these are straight up nasty air-cooled big bore. Here's a bike that'll definitely rip your house off the foundation, no doubt about it. Might rip your arms out of its socket, which might be a good time to talk to Carlos. Carlos, come here. We're doing a little fundraiser for Carlos. Carlos, yeah, first of all, let's show him your wound first. Yeah, his shoulder is destroyed. What happened, Carlos?
I was on a bungee trying to be like Ken Hill climbing and just flipped over. Pew, 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 pew.
So
all the way down.
He's working with one arm now, so we're giving him light duty until he gets his. He's getting his surgery. What, on the 12th?
Thursday. Yeah.
So we're gonna do a GoFundMe for Carlos. I'm gonna throw in the first. Everybody who works here has to give him at least $1. All you guys watching, you got to put $1 up for Carlos. He doesn't have the money for his surgery. It's probably gonna be like 20 grand or something. So throwing $1 for Carlos, and we got Mr. Turbo coming. I hate to tell you, but we're down like 5 guys. It's summertime, and they're all a bunch of lunatics out riding and racing every weekend. Mr. Turbo himself crashed his Enduro and snapped his arm completely in half and his collarbone. It has plates and rods, and he'll be in a little later in the video. He's come by to. We're going to give him $1 each to see his cut, because they took the stitches out today. Remember when you were a kid, you'd give a quarter to see someone's broken thumbnail or something like that, you know? So we're all going to give him $1 to see his wound.
We're following Ken's footsteps.
Yeah, I've broken both shoulders twice, titanium plate. This finger right here, this one, I can't even pick my nose with it, because look at that thing. It went through a sprocket, man. Yeah, I have 2 right feet now because the bones are sticking out of both sides on this one. But thanks to MKS Moto Kicks, I made it through with my messed up feet. I walked at least 10 miles at the National, around the track a couple times, through the pits. I had to park a half hour away. And then I was up to 3:30 in the morning unloading these bikes. Why would I skip the 3:30? Totally stone cold sober. No nicotine, no caffeine, nothing but Chrissy's good home cooking and a couple of Hershey bars, but running on adrenaline. I was so pumped to be at this cool, my buddy Mark's barn. And I got to sleep over there. I slept in the barn with the bikes. Of course I did. Where else would I be? But it was definitely an awesome trip. Guys, will you just look at it? The GOAT, Ricky Carmichael, the greatest of all time. This is a replica, RC replica. They made these 1 year from Suzuki, and it had all the bling on it right from the factory. This one just needs a nice power wash and a little clean. Should be showroom fresh. Can't wait to rip this thing up the driveway for you guys. It's 8 or 9 o'clock, no 12 o'clocks for this old guy. My doctor told me no more wheelies after I had back surgery. And that was like 5 years ago. I've done like 57,000 wheelies since then. I just don't go to 12. I just go to like 9 or 10, all right? So you got to grade me on a curve. Guys, this is one of my favorites. Actually, it's not really my favorite, but it's probably the nicest condition of any one. I know it doesn't look that great, but if you look closely, this is an original KX250. The pipe's perfectly straight, not a ding in it. The frame rail's perfectly straight. With some new plastics and graphics, he's going to shine up like a new penny. It's a really, really low hour piece. Here's a clue. Look at the sticker on the back of the forks right there. Guys, look at this row. We're gonna have all the colors of the Skittles, and we color coordinated all the yellow ones first, then all the green ones, then all the red ones. And I've got some ones you may never have even seen before, like old vintage Kajivas and CZs, and some really cool shit like the first 2-stroke CR250 ever made coming off the bus. Stay tuned. Guys, super, super clean KX 500 straight frame rails. My buddy Mark is and was a ARMA racer, him and his kids. His kid's a pro level rider, and they would take these bikes to MX Rewind for years. Like, he's been at Unadilla for the last 40 years, but he's you know, like me, he's getting up there. I think he's a few years older than me, and they're just downsizing a little bit. Let's face it, for one dude to have 50 dirt bikes, how are you ever going to maintain them? You know, it's a lot of work. So he's lightening his load, and he's been getting some new bikes, some primo new bikes like the GP300 he just got from Junior. Here's another classic Team Chevy Trucks Kawasaki. I even have the matching stand to this bad boy. If you want to race vintage motocross, I can't think of a better bike than this. Well, maybe the 93 CR250, that's one of my favorites, or a 97 CR500. But if you like green, this is as good as it gets. Guys, they were riding these right before I got there. Obviously, they're a little muddy, but they'll clean up like a new penny. KLX 110, basically in showroom new condition. Man, you can't go wrong with these. They're absolutely freaking bulletproof. And I've got the big brother right over here. Bring it on out. This is a KLX 110L. Still got the hay from the hayfield. Mark's one of the coolest guys in upstate New York. Let me tell you a little bit about Mark Shackler. Everybody I talk to up there loves the guy. His kids, his friends, all his employees, got a big construction company with probably, I don't know how many employees, but they got a massive facility up there and 120 acres on their farm. He created a private motocross track, and since the 80s, he's been letting people ride there for free for $1, and then you sign the waiver, and he'll let you ride for free. He got sued a few years back for $1 million. Most guys would close the track. This dude loves racing so much. He took his licks, did his court thing, paid up, and he's still doing it. He's still having, in October, they're having an event there. Killer track. He maintains it himself, and he does it for the love of motorcycles. Obviously, guys, you know, like me, is totally. I mean, we don't do this industry for money. I did the computer industry for money, and I came here and spent, well, $7.5 million so far on the museum and the bikes and everything. My whole life savings, and then it is what it is. But they say if you want to make money in racing motorcycles, you start a pile of cash. You start with a big pile of cash, and then you have a little one. But we love this. It's awesome, and there's no retiring from this for me. I'll do this till the day I die. We love it. Guys, this may be the most significant motorcycle in American and worldwide motocross history. Why? This is the first two-stroke motocross bike built specifically for racing by Honda. Initially released in 73 and 74. They're pretty much identical. Guys, here's a bike that'll rip your house right off the foundation. You know what? I'm a little sad to say it's faster than my CR500. Tell them why this is the hottest new bike on the market
80 horsepower today. Out of the box. It's got a 2-year warranty, battery and motor. It'll definitely rip the house right off the foundation.
Man, that's insane. All the big four don't offer any warranty on their dirt bikes. Take it and scram. You got to sign a form that says
if it blows up in the parking lot, you're on your own, not with Stark.
If you can't afford 14 grand for this bike, $10. You got a lousy $10. Don't be a cheapskate. Go to kaplancycles.com. Pull out that wallet, have a couple less beers tonight, and you got it covered, okay? You could win this bad boy.
$10 for a chance to win, kaplancycles.com. All proceeds go to the New England Motorcycle Museum Continuation Fund.
God bless America. Before the Elsinore, Honda was not known for dirt bikes. They were known for reliable street and trail bikes, not for racing. The Japanese manufacturers hadn't yet cracked the code, and Honda went all in on this Elsinore, and it also was the first bike to beat the European brands CZ, Husqvarna, Mako, and Bultaco, which I have all four of the trailer in here that I'm going to share with you today. And it was also named after the famous Elsinore Grand Prix in California, a desert race immortalized by the film On Any Sunday. 247cc, two-stroke, single-cylinder, air-cooled, pumping out 30 horsepower, which was a lot of horsepower. Super lightweight, 214 pounds. I'm sure I can get at least 30 reps out of this thing on a bench press. And it is super lightweight, competitive, and it was reliable. Steel tube frame, long travel suspension by the standards of the day. And check out the polished aluminum tank with the green stripe. Definitely instantly recognizable. This is an iconic motocross bike if there ever was one. This shifted the power from Europe to Japan and paved the way for Honda, Suzuki, and Yamaha, which are all on the trailer too, about ready to come out, to really set a new standard until KTM, you know, fought back, and now they're kicking ass too. But it made a lot of competitive racing available for the masses. And the best part was it was priced reasonably and widely available through Honda dealers, opening motocross to thousands of new riders in America. In the 125 version, which was introduced in 74, actually started the phenomenon of high school motocross. And believe it or not, in California, which isn't known for its friendliness to two-strokes or motocross anymore 50 years later. But back then, they had high school motocross teams. You could actually, instead of playing football, you could race motocross. And legendary racers like Gary Jones rode the Elsinore Grand Prix to win the 73 AMA 250 National Motocross Championship on this bike right here, proving its race-winning pedigree. The rest is history. Marty Smith, rest in peace, another phenomenal phenom of motocross racing, also rode the Elsinore Championship shortly after that. And this was the catalyst for the Japanese motocross boom. After Honda, they all followed in developing high-performance two-stroke motocross machines. This ushered in the late 70s motocross explosion, where Japanese brands took over all over the industry. This Elsinore is not just a motorcycle, it was a movement. It became the bike of choice for young racers and was prominently featured in Honda advertising with slogans like, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda," evolving into, "Now meet the fastest," Jet Lawrence, right? Even Steve McQueen rode one, adding to its iconic status. I wish I had the one Steve rode, because if his ass touched the seat, it'd be worth $75,000. But today, the Honda CR250M Elsinore is considered a landmark motorcycle, arguably the most significant Japanese motocross ever built. Collectors prize them highly, guys like me, especially original examples with a polished alloy tank, and it set the stage for Honda's dominance in motocross throughout the 80s and beyond. The 74 Elsinore was a game changer. It took motocross from a niche European sport to a mainstream American and global phenomenon, and it marked Honda's transformation into a racing powerhouse. The rest, as they say, my good fellows, is history. Guys, this should need no explanation or no introduction. This is the legendary 1973 Honda XR75, one of the most iconic mini motocross bikes of all time. Moses, you're going kind of slow. What do you think of this bike here?
This is a beautiful.
No. Tell us in Ghana. I want to hear you talking Ghana.
Honda XL75.
And what do they say about this in Ghana? Okay, well, and here in the U.S., I can tell you, Honda released the XR75 in 1973. This bike changed the game for kids motocross. Before this, most small machines were just trail bikes or tiny two-strokes, but this was the real deal. A purpose-built motocross machine scaled down for young riders, and it looked just like Dad's big CR250. Under the tank, Honda gave it a 72cc four-stroke engine that stood the test of time. With the overhead cam, air-cooled and built to rev, this thing was absolutely bulletproof and pumped out about 6.5 horsepower at 9,000 RPM. Show them the pipe on this thing, and it's a fire-breathing dragon. One of my buddies, David, I forget his last name now, but I can't forget when he was a kid, he had a DG pipe on his, and the thing sounded wicked. Super lightweight, 137 pounds dry, and small seat height of 29 inches, telescopic forks, real shocks. And this was a bike, if you're a kid that grew up in the 70s, and any kid from that era will tell you the XR75 wasn't just a play bike. This was a machine that built future champions. Riders like Jeff Ward and Johnny O'Mara cut their teeth on these Hondas, and entire companies like DG and Powerall built hop-up kits to push them past 100 cc's, making them even faster and more competitive. Classic Honda styling has that bright red striping on the classic silver. This was a real motocrosser, just scaled down. And you could buy these dirt cheap, just a few $100 back then, brand new. Today, one of these restored will set you back at the minimum $5,000. Most of them, if they're restored properly, they're gonna bring north of 10 grand. Why? Well, this is a time machine. It's an iconic memory for most dudes my age that were 60, like I'm 60 years old. And if you knew these bikes when you were a kid, this was the bike to have for fun, play riding, and motocross. Plus, it takes about 100 hours of shop labor to do a frame off and rebuild the engine and everything. So at $150 an hour, you can drop 10, 15 grand restoring one of these pretty easily. But when they're done, they're money in the bank. Guys, wait till we get this thing restored and you hear that J&B racing equipment pipe just singing a song. They sound awesome. It looks nice next to Dad's CR250 for sure. John, what do you think about this classic?
Okay.
2002 XR80. Tell us in Chinese.
OK， 这个2002年本田摩托车不是中国产的，不是 Made in China， 不是中国产的，是日本原装，然后很棒，很 popular 的，然后我们只需要只需要洗一洗，然后给它没有什么大的改动，然后就是一个很漂亮的车，然后就是这样了。如果你不想买汽车的话，这个车是很不错的选择。然后给你的女朋友，给你的妻子，就这样，谢谢。
I have some sad news to report for me and the team. John's going back to China for a month, and we're gonna miss him dearly because he's a top guy in the detail shop. He's been with me over 20 years now, so he gets a month off every year, and he goes and sees his dad in China. And tell us in English? What are you gonna do every day over there?
Campaign with my dad and my sister, and my dad in bad condition, but we help him going better.
And what else, John? Tell him like you tell the guys. What are you really doing?
No.
I'll tell
Some parties.
He's going to be drinking Chinese beer every day and partying and have fun. Why not? He works hard. And sometimes you have Chinese beer for breakfast too, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll sober him up when he gets back.
Right.
Here we go, boys. We're getting into the heavy metal. Look at this 83 CR125R, another classic motocross rider from the era where every year they would come out with new and improved stuff. Not like today, where Suzuki's been running bold new graphics since 2014. You know, the bikes have gotten so good, you put somebody like Roxon on one, it almost doesn't matter. You know, you could probably ride a mountain bike faster than most mere mortals. But anyways, This was an era where they're improving every year. This is a liquid-cooled 2-stroke, 6-speed, reed valve, ProLink suspension, spectacular machine. Can't wait to ride it.
Esta es una Honda CR 125. Dos tiempos, una máquina realmente para correr, saltar, divertirse todo el tiempo. Una de las mejores motos que construyó Honda.
Guys, I've heard you say you want to see the guys behind the scene making the magic happen. This is Carlos. He's one of our top restoration experts here. Does frame up, frame off restorations, the classic motocross bikes. Him and he's teaching his son the trade too. They're both spectacular guys and part of our family. And the bike should need no introduction, but hey, it's a 2002 aluminum frame CR 125. Super, super cool piece. Still has the sticker for the chain drive on there. Obviously a low hour gem that we're gonna shine up like a new penny. Guys, this is a badass Elsinore CR 250 right here. Got the gold rims, class of 1986 here, and or 85, I'm not really sure, but what a spectacular piece. Let's just check the steering stem. What is it? 86. Yep, I had it right the first time. I had an 86 CR 500. Badass piece. Carlos is one of the gurus behind the scenes here, spinning wrenches at Kaplan Cycles. He's been with us about, what, 12 years now, since we got here, basically. Carlos, what do you have to say for the folks out there?
El que trata de jobarse cualquiera de estas bicicletas, tenemos un par de Magnum y copeta para la cara. Boom, boom.
Sounds like he's talking about our security system. All of this insured by Smith & Wesson. Bang, bang, brother. We had the Elsinore and the XR at the start of an era. This, sadly, is the end of one of the best eras of motocross. This is a 2007 CR 125R aluminum frame. Last year of the 2-stroke, baby. This is a V-Force reed valve, RC valve, little rocket ship that'll definitely huck the triple. Stay tuned. We'll have this thing looking like a brand new factory bike in no time. Guys, we saved the best for last. Not one, not just twins, Basil, but triplets. We've got triplets. Aluminum frame CR 500. This says Voodoo on the tank for a reason. What do you think about this badass ride?
So this is where boys become men. You hop on a CR 500, you're gonna test your faith with God.
This is one that'll definitely rip the house off the foundation, huh?
Absolutely, you gotta hold on and just pray.
Probably
hold on and pray, brother.
the fastest production motocross bike ever made. The CR 500, probably the best engine ever made for motocross. These things, I have 40-year-old XRs that we pull out of barns that fire right up and run phenomenal. Not sure how the 4-strokes and the fuel injection will all be doing in 40 years, but these things are bulletproof, and they're still got a long life ahead of them when you plunk them into a modern CR frame. When I said the best for last, I meant just on this trailer. We got a whole nother trailer full coming out, but definitely one of my favorite bikes on the collection. We'll have Wizard do a frame up on them, and they'll be outstanding examples. Guys, another badass aluminum frame 500. My partner on this weekend's adventure and pretty much all of our adventures, James, he's a Marine sniper and a LEO, law enforcement officer, retired state police. He's shipped over 5,000 motorcycles to us, and as a former sniper, he's still carrying the heat, so you might want to pick another trailer to pull over and try to rob, guys. You picked the wrong guy. It'd be like trying to rob Clint Eastwood. Not a happy ending for you. James showed up Sunday morning while everybody else was licking their wounds with their head on. Got right into it. We loaded up. How many bikes in your trailer, James?
21.
21 bikes. Made the ride back, and he's here Monday morning. They don't, that's old school tough. Check out this Voodoo CR 500 aluminum frame rocket ship. What are your thoughts, John?
Yeah, this is a Voodoo CR 500 bike. Wow, it's a fast bike.
Fastest one you ever rode?
Faster, right.
Wait till it gets a Wizard tune. I'm interrupting this regularly scheduled program to give you a little announcement from our sponsor, Kaplan Cycles. Wanted motorcycles, any make, model, and condition, dirt or street, often on and off-road models of all sizes and years, one bike up to complete barn loads or 2 barn loads like we picked up this weekend. Parts, accessories, memorabilia. Give us a call, 860-454-7024. There's not many companies in the United States that'll show up on a Sunday and pack up 50 bikes, write you a check, and also bring you a brand new gas or 2, or a new Stark, or a new Buell, or whatever else you want. We'll hook you up, but we'll find a new home, and they'll be treated right, and they'll be restored to brand new condition. We'll find a home where they'll be loved. Don't leave them out in the barn, alone, scared, cold. Bring them to Uncle Ken. I'll shine them up like brand new, rebuild the engines, make them better than new, and we'll find them a home where they can live happily ever after. That's what we call a happy ending. Truck number 1's done. but it's just a start because truck number 2 is right here. James has got some jewels in here. Hashtag, where's James? Let's open it up. Okay, don't worry guys. This is a legendary 95 CR500R. It's a good straight roller. Don't worry, Uncle AJ's got us covered at built500.com. We're gonna order a billet block CR500 engine, which will absolutely, definitely be a fire-breathing dragon. Next off is a Cagiva WMX125, I think is what they called it. Olin shock. This thing is, well, I got 2 spare engines that came with it. The top end was wasted on it, but there's a box full of engines and parts. The guy that raced it had like 3 cylinders and 2 lower ends. So we'll definitely put this one back together and polish her up. There's another roller. This one's got the carb and the radiators. We just need an engine. Uncle AJ, give me a call, brother. AJ's he's been nicknamed the godfather of the CR500 since like 1987, I think it was, or was it not 97 when he came out with the first aluminum frame conversion, and he's been doing, no one's ever built more CR500s than AJ Wagoner at built500.com. But no one's ridden more of these than me. I've confirmed more rides on a CR500 camera than anybody else. Here's another one. That's 3 rollers. Triplets, Basil. Here's another newer all-white Cagiva WMX 125. All the parts to put it back together on that box right there. So she's a little rough around the edges. Barn find. See if we got the pigeon shit on it. Because Mark had some pigeons on the second level, but she'll clean up like a new penny. Guys, we got all the colors of the Skittles. We got yellow ones, green ones, silver ones, red ones, white ones, and now orange ones. Guys, look at this Can-Am MX-6 with the banana swing arm, the Olin shocks with the piggyback reservoirs. Absolutely freaking awesome piece. This is a 406cc 2-stroke ripper with the end of the 2-stroke twin shock era. Killer forks, killer shocks, and nothing but big bore stump pulling horsepower. Guys, another orange Zonker right here. Look at this 2-stroke 400cc beast. I think there's three of these. There's at least 6 or 9 Can-Ams on the trailer. It's a badass little brother. This is a 250cc Bombardier MX-6. What do you think about this one, James?
Well, this is a nice one right here. This makes you want to slap your mama.
Okay, what are you speaking? You can't speak Spanish or Chinese or...
Well, it's my redneck coming out.
A redneck, okay. A little southern redneck. He is from Florida, boys. Another orange Can-Am Bombardier 250 with the remote reservoir shocks. This is definitely a badass piece. I nicknamed him Tyler, but his real name is Luke. He looks just like the kid that used to work here named Tyler, but he's all the way from Australia. What does Gen Z have to say about the Can-Am?
This thing will get your nuts quaking when you fire it right up.
There you go. Nothing but 2-stroke power. Guys, our Eagles came home. Come to Uncle Ken. This is my Eagle right there. Another classic Can-Am, the Canadian brand under Bombardier, stormed into motocross in the early 70s with lightweight, brutally fast 2-stroke race bikes built to not only compete, but to destroy the competition. CZ, Mako, Husqvarna, all the European and the rising Japanese brands. In fact, Jimmy Ellis, the Cobalt captain right here from Cobalt, Connecticut, won the first Super Bowl of motocross on a white Can-Am, a 1974 over in California. He went on to win multiple AMA national motocross races and championship events with the Can-Am motorcycle, and they continued this dominance into the early 80s. These bikes here were produced 81 to 83, 246cc liquid-cooled rotary valve 2-stroke 250, and the 400 was actually a 370 badge 400, the first version. Then they came out with the 406 chromoly steel chassis. Can-Am was experimenting and innovating with longer travel and laid down shocks, which was something new back in the day. Slimline tank, angular side panels, cool orange classic black plastics with black graphics, very distinctive Canadian muscle bike look. Gary Jones was a multi-time AMA champ, helped develop and race the Can-Ams in the mid-70s. Let's roll her into the lineup. Not only Jimmy, but Marty Tripes were key Can-Am factory riders. Ellis in particular giving Can-Am the 75 AMA 250 Supercross Championship. That was the first official Supercross title ever. The sport was just been invented. At the time of the MX-6 series in the early 80s, Can-Am was still competitive, but the Japanese brands were rapidly dominating with huge R&D budgets. The MX-6s were raced in AMA Nationals and Canadian Nationals, often praised for their raw speed. And in fact, I had a 370 version of this that we put an electron carb on, and the thing was an absolute monster. It had around 50 rear wheel horsepower. It was like riding a 500. They are proof Canada could compete. The 250 and the 400 was a brand that could still produce world-class race bikes into the early 80s. And this is a prime example right here. Both the 250 and 400 MX6 are now rare and desirable among vintage motocross enthusiasts. And these bikes represent the tail end of Can-Am's golden racing era. Winning a Supercross title, the first one ever, is proof that these things were pretty badass. The Cobalt captain himself, Jimmy Ellis, used to fly on these things, just destroy the local and national competition. Here's another Can-Am 400B, aka the MX6. And I told you there's at least 6 or 9 of these on there, and some white ones too. Guys, this is the 125 MX Can-Am that the little brother of the 250 Jimmy Ellis won the AMA Supercross Championship, and also Gary Jones won the outdoor AMA National Championship in 1974 on the 250cc version of this. These are extremely fast rotary valve engines with a wide screaming power band that really would catch you off guard if you're used to riding a CR 125. These things were super fast. Early white tank MX 125s like this are highly sought after by vintage motocross collectors, partly because most of them were raced hard and destroyed. The MX 125 was another Canadian-built 125 rocket that shocked the motocross world with its speed. It had a reputation as one of the fastest and rarest small bores of the mid-70s. Today, an original white MX 125 is the crown jewel of the vintage motocross era for collectors. This is very similar to the bike that Jimmy Ellis and Gary Jones won the AMA National Supercross and Motocross Championships in '74. This one, unlike the other manufacturers who made an enduro bike and would strip it down and make it a motocross bike, Can-Am took their motocross bike and made it an enduro bike. This one came from the factory with lights, and it could be made street legal. This is a Bombardier TNT 250, another spectacular example of Canadian muscle magic on a 2-stroke motocross bike. Guys, check out this classic CZ. Look at this sticker right here. Joe Abade's Cycle Therapy. Check him out online. One of the premier motorcycle restoration experts on the West Coast had his hand on this. I got to call him and find out exactly what he did, but this is a classic 1974, 51-year-old, soon to be 52-year-old CZ 250 motocross bike. The brand Česká Zbrojka. Hey, I don't know if I murdered that, but that's my best way I could pronounce it, but the spelling is Zbrojovka. CZ was a Czechoslovakian company that built some of the most respected motocross bikes of the 60s and 70s. In the late 60s, CZ was the European powerhouse, dominating motocross before the Japanese Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki fully committed to off-road racing. Riders like Joel Robert or Roger DeCoster, the legend himself, the guy who ran the KTM racing team and most of the major brands over the years. Probably, he's in the AMA Hall of Fame, probably one of the most significant motocross personalities in the history of motocross. Multi-time world champion in pretty much all the classes, including the 500s. Rogers is straight up badass and has been running the U.S. Des Nations team for over a decade. I think he just retired from the Des Nations management team. But anyways, he raced these bikes back in the day, early in his career. It's a 247cc air-cooled 2-stroke single. Guys, check out the porcupine head on this thing, the race pipe. I think there's Olin shocks. What would you call this bike? Starts with a C. You say it all the time.
Esta es una moto Calimatic.
Calimatic, brother.
Viene de Czechoslovakia.
Calimatic, that's right. Calimatic's where it's at. When he first said it, I thought he was making words up because he said a Yamaha was Calimatic, but I looked it up. It really is a word. But check out that porcupine head, heavily finned for improved cooling. The nickname came from the spiky fin design that stuck out, looking like a porcupine. About 30 horsepower, which is very competitive for its time. These are highly sought after classic vintage race bikes that would dominate most bikes built in the 60s. About 6 to 7 inches of travel. Drum brakes, polished aluminum tank is kind of its signature, and lightweight. Definitely a cool piece. Today, a 74 CZ250 with a porcupine head and aluminum tank is a holy grail of vintage motocross bikes. It represents the last great era of CZ before they began to fade from the world championship contention. They were a European powerhouse. It was European dominance during the sport's golden years. This right here is a 74 Bultaco Persang 250, one of the most iconic motocross bikes of the 70s. Bultaco was a Spanish brand founded in 1958 by Mr. Paco Bulto. Their thumbs up logo became a motocross symbol around the world. The Persang was a pure race bike, and the 250 version was one of the fastest and best handling bikes of its day. Roll it out, son. This bike runs a 244cc 2-stroke single, making about 30 horsepower with a 5-speed gearbox, chromoly frame, and long travel suspension for its time. It weighed just about 220 pounds and came ready to race right out of the crate. The Persang made motocross history in 1973 when American Jim Pomeroy shocked the world, winning the Spanish 250 Grand Prix, the first ever GP won by an American rider, and he did it on a Persang just like this one. Bultaco was not only competitive and worldwide in motocross, but trials and even road racing. The Persang 250 stood out as one of the best European motocross bikes of the mid-70s. Today, it's a collector's dream and a reminder of the era when Spain was at top of the motocross world. The 74 Bultaco Persang 250 is fast, exotic, and legendary. This wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a symbol of motocross history. Next off the fun bus is a 92 Husqvarna 250, one of the Italian-built Huskies from the Cagiva era. 249cc liquid-cooled two-stroke, making about 42 horsepower. Smooth, tractable power with a 6-speed version in the WR Enduro 6-speed tranny in the WR version. Up front, you've got 45mm Marzocchi forks, and out back, an Öhlins monoshock, some of the best suspension of the time. And by 92, Husky was running disc brakes front and rear. Now, Husky wasn't winning AMA Supercross championships with this bike. The Japanese had that locked down. Roll it out, John. But in Europe, in enduro and cross country, these things were dominant. Riders like Kerry, Tannen, and Paul Edmondson were taking world titles on Husqvarna 250s just like this one. So the 92 Husky stands out as a classic from the end of the Cagiva era. Cagiva had been building these for 6 years. They had it figured out. Maybe not the fastest motocrosser, but one of the toughest enduro machines of the 90s. Here's another classic two-stroke motocross bike I was riding at 10 o'clock last night after Unadilla. What a fantastic, did I tell you I had a fantastic weekend? This is one of the best weekends of my life. This is a 1990 YZ125 that Mark and his sons did a frame up on. All new plastics, graphics, chain and sprockets. It's a confirmed ripper for sure. It's got the dreaded yellowed tank. I'm not sure what we're gonna do about that. I'll have to call my boys at VMX or Clark and see if they still make a new white tank, because it needs one. You can Caswell line the tank and paint it, but that's only if it's gonna be a show bike. You wouldn't wanna ride it. Here's another super significant piece of Yamaha moto history. This is an original 81 YZ125. Why is it significant? Well, as I said earlier, motocross was developing rapidly every year with major new innovations. This was the first liquid-cooled two-stroke YZ125 ever made. They had the radiator up on the steering stem, and it was substantially faster and better than the air-cooled 1980. The monocross suspension was evolving and improving. Everything was getting better about the bikes, but they were still drum brake bikes up until, I think, 85 or 86, but just a really cool, classic, original two-stroke motocross. Guys, this one has to go back to the front of the line. It was on the wrong trailer. This is the first oldest RM that we have on the entire load here of the, I think, 13 RMs. This is a 77 RM125. One of the first years. 76 was the first year with a lay-down shocks, or was it 75? 75, they had lay-down shocks, but it still had a downpipe. And 2 years before this, they had a downpipe on it. Still had the aluminum tank, and it's been upgraded with period correct Fox shocks. I have the side panels. They're in one of the boxes of parts that we're going to unload, but we'll do a frame-up resto on it. It'll be beautiful. Lead of the stage, John, lead of the stage, wheeling out this super sexy Hot Wheels split fire Kawasaki KX250. This right here is one of the most iconic factory race bikes of the 90s, the KX250 two-stroke in the famous split fire Hot Wheels graphics. This was a works version of the KX250, pushing over 50 horsepower with factory-tuned engines, hand-built shower suspension, magnesium and titanium parts. Lighter, faster, stronger, and sharper than anything you'd buy off the showroom floor. And look who threw a leg over these badass bikes. Legends like Kawasaki's Pro Circuit 125 team riders, Ryan Hughes, Michael Pichon, Casey Johnson, and even the general himself, Brian Deegan, swung a leg over these bad boys before he joined the Metal Militia. Then in the Hot Wheels era on the 250s, Jeff Emig rode it to the 1997 AMA Supercross Championship and the 97 250 Motocross title. Roll it on out, John. And by 99-2000, a young Ricky Carmichael was on the Hot Wheels Kawasaki, starting his 250 career before becoming the GOAT, the greatest of all time. So the split fire and Hot Wheels Kawasaki's weren't just flashy graphics. They were bikes that carried legends, defined a generation of motocross, and cemented the KX250 as one of the greatest factory two-strokes of all time. It's another classic 98 KX250, kind of reminiscent of that era with the pink graphics. Moses, can you keep it rolling? Keep it rolling, son. You got it. Moving on out. Keep moving. We got a lot of bikes to show today, Moses. This one's done up with the black Renthal chain and sprockets, green pegs. just a kick-ass motocross bike. John Dowd had a KX250 two-stroke after retiring, pulled it out of the barn. Thing might have been sitting for, I don't know, 6 or 9 years in the barn. He took it out and waxed the local pros at Southwick by 30 seconds on a, I don't know, 10-year-old, might have been 15-year-old two-stroke at the time. And they just unbelievable how fast these bikes are.
That's all, folks. For today, then I'm headed for the next load.
Will you just look at it? Look at this. Look at this. Just look at it. Is that a sight for sore eyes on a Monday morning? Yes, I do have the best job in the world. Buddy! This is Instructor Kurt. This is where Kenny got his rep black belt. Instructor Kurt rolling up the United States of America shirt on here. What do you think of this lineup of bikes, sir?
That's unbelievable. Yeah.
What'd you say off camera? You said?
I can't remember.
I remember you said, holy shit.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
It's pretty
unbelievable.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Where'd you find all these?
Well, they found us. My friend Mark Shackler from upstate New York was he's getting up there in his years, wanted to downsize a bit, and sold me the whole collection.
Geez. Well, you're gonna run out of room up here.
we got plenty of room. We got a whole factory here. Keep them coming, guys.
Keep them coming.
If you have a collection to sell,
so cool.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah.
Now, a word from the voice of reason, Junior, who's always pulling the reins back on me. We kind of reverse roles here a little bit. I'm the responsible one.
The seller just hit lotto. He found the only guy that was silly enough to buy 53 classic motorcycles in one clip with the means. This is my inheritance, guys. Take a look.
Yeah, I hope you like it, Junior. I get every color of the rainbow here.
Yeah, it's looking looking good.
This isn't a good look, the button-down shirt with sleeves on an electric bike. The two-stroke gods are not going to be happy. They've awarded us this beautiful load. Can you go get your CR500 and get the sacrilege out of here? Oh! My battery's going to die. Not with my old two-stroke. You put a little petrol in the tank and you're good to go. A little real talk after a weekend at Unadilla with all my homies. After all these years, I still realize the other side still sucks. If you're not at least 50 years old, you probably don't remember, but back in the day at Unadilla, it used to be a shit show. They'd be standing, hey! They would be standing on the other side of the hill throwing beer bottles at each other and rocks, and the other side sucks, and they used to burn that's why I don't allow camping anymore, because my generation got a little out of hand back in the day. I still might be stuck in the 70s, but it was in the 80s, but it was a good time. James is messing up our whole show here. We got to move these bikes. Guess why? He's taking off to pick up the rest of the collection of Harleys that we bought in Ohio. Another truckload video coming soon. This time classic Ironheads. Guys, this truck's 2 years old, has 385,000 miles on it. The trailer has a confirmed 850,000 miles on it. That's my old trailer, and it's beat to shit. That's the bad news. The good news is he's got a brand new 28-footer. It's already at his house in Florida. So next video you'll see his new ride. Check out this Mako 490 Sand Spider. You spot me there, son? Or you just watching?
No, you're good.
Yeah. Check this thing out. Big bore, two-stroke, monster, German engineering, Olin shock, Mako forks. This is the engine supposedly Honda copied deporting for their engines, the early 500s. It's a badass machine, the Sand Spider. Next off is a Sand Spider 250. Check this bad boy out. The gold rims, beautiful red paint job, yellow graphics. Definitely an iconic piece of moto history right here. Look at the billet aluminum engine cover, the billet aluminum brakes on both front and rear. Brand new full circle racing. Aluminum rims, beautiful piece. Another beauty, Sand Spider 250. This one's got a nice chrome racing pipe on it. Gold Excel rims, Olin shock, bristling with chicory. What a beast. We'll restore this baby like brand new. Guys, I'm down here. Check it out. We've got every era of motocross, starting with the iconic 1974 Elsinore 250, right up to the 500cc aluminum frame service Honda. Just an incredible array of machines spanning 5 decades, from yellow Suzukis to green Kawasaki's, red and silver Hondas, white Kojivas, orange Can-Ams, silver CZs, all the way up to the orange Makos. We've got a little bit of something for everybody here, so stay tuned with us as we bring you down a journey through time of the last 5 decades of motocross history here. Another major pick that we purchased from my friend Mark in upstate New York. Just some spectacular classic moto history here. Stay tuned. Guys, I told you Mr. Turbo got bitten by a sand spider. Not this one, but one like this. Actually, it was his enduro bike. What happened, brother?
Yeah.
They flail fished him from here to here.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this, all the way down here. And
they got me good.
We're going to have a GoFundMe. You got to give him $1 for looking. Remember when you were a little kid and you'd pay $0.25 to see someone's fingernail that fell off or something? This is at least $1, guys. You got to kick in. Yeah, what's in your arm for a hard whip?
Oh, I got a titanium plate on this side of my arm and on that side. And I got one in the collarbone as well. So good thing is I started the recovery process the day I got the surgery. So that's kind of a godsend because it's only been like 10 or 12 days since this happened. So most people would be laid up right now, but I'm happy to be out here and seeing all these beautiful bikes.
Well, you have youth on your side, Noah, and somehow Romans 8:28, God works all things for good that are living according to his will. So we're hoping that some good can come out of his injury. Mainly, maybe to slow one of you guys slow your roll down. He's been trying to hang with R7 stunts and the rest of the guys, Travis, T-Bag, and all those stunt riders there. So, yeah, and riding at that level, the level you guys do on high performance bikes, shit happens. So you flipped you were riding a wheelie and it flipped. What exactly happened?
No, yeah, I was riding a wheelie and I just ran out of real estate. So I landed and had one finger on the front brake, and right when I landed, I landed on loose stone or gravel, and the front end just washed right out immediately. And the way I crashed, I tried to save the bike. In retrospect, I should have just dumped the bike and said screw it. But like breaking a bone wasn't an option for me when I crashed. I never broke a bone before. So I dumped it, tried to save the bike, and ended up breaking myself, kind of like landed, braced for impact, and broke this arm, and then broke the collarbone on impact as well. So that's a lesson for you guys out there. You know, I was getting too comfortable on a bike that I didn't really know that well. And I was trying to show off in front of friends, and that's what happened. So happens to the best of us. Tyler's crashed. I've crashed. Ken's definitely crashed.
I've broken both shoulders twice. So that's 4 times. So I'm the 4-time loser. We'd have a 20-minute video going over all my injuries. But if you learn something, insanity is repeating the same thing over and over. And sometimes I think I walk that fine line of insanity, but it's so fun riding. I mean, I might have quit, quote unquote, 10 or 12 times, but I always come back to it. It's nothing that'll replace the adrenaline rush. Nothing that's healthy for you anyways. So, I mean, alcohol and drugs are nowheresville. Motorcycles are where it's at. But I think the key is to ride it. If you're not racing for a living like Deegan and Jet Lawrence and Shimoda and all those guys, then you should just be riding at like 7/10 or 8/10. Don't go to 10/10 to that extreme to impress anybody, even yourself, because when you crash, it sucks. So, and don't fly fast. Don't ride faster than your angels can fly. That's another thing I like to say. But maybe, we nicknamed him Mr. Turbo because he's turbocharges everything he gets, including his Hayabusa, which like you really need to turbocharge a Hayabusa to 90 in second gear. But it's pretty cool that you got all those bikes, but this was an off-road enduro he crashed on. So maybe it's a message from God that could have been your 90 or 100 mile an hour second gear pass on your Busa. You crash at those speed, you wouldn't be here 10 days later.
Sure.
Because you're essentially okay. I mean, their bones are you'll be in 4 or 5 weeks. You'll be doing push-ups on your knuckles in 7 weeks, I'm sure. Yeah. At your age, the muscles all heal. So, but I know it sucks. I'm sorry it happened to you. Hopefully some good will come out of it, and you'll have a long career in riding. The other fist, because this one needs to be.
I can't do it yet.
But heal up quick, brother.
Thank you.
We love you and want you to get better soon. And thank you all for watching. If no one's told you yet today, I love all you. After all these years, I still know one thing. The other side still sucks. What an awesome weekend at the Nationals. Had a great day at the races, and I went and picked up this massive collection of two-strokes, truckloads, plural, of some of the coolest, iconic, classic motocross bikes dating back to the 1974 Elsinore, right up to a new aluminum Freight 500. Let's go take a ride down memory lane. Guys, we're saving motorcycle history here, one bike at a time, starting with twin Mako 250 Sand Spiders, a Mako 490 Sand Spider, a Kawasaki KX 250, a Hot Wheels Splitfire Factory 250, first year liquid cooled 81 125, a 90 YZ 125, a Husqvarna 1992 250, a 74 Bultaco, a 74 CZ Porcupine Head, twin Can-Ams 74 75, and some early 80s Can-Ams, 6 or 9 of them, 400s, the 406, and the 250. Very, very cool Orange Brigade here. The original Orange Brigade the Cagiva 250, the Cagiva 125, and then 3 rollers here that Uncle AJ at Built 500 is going to build us some nice billet block 500s for. And then 3 in a row, aluminum frame CR 500s, twin Voodoos, a 1MF FMF, a Geico CR 125, an 86 CR 250, a 2007 last year, and an 83, one of the first year liquid cools. And look at this iconic classic, 1973, first year of the Honda XR75, the big tank with red stripe, the green stripe 74 Elsinore CR 250. This changed motocross history and brought the Japanese bikes into the game, crushing the European brands until KTM made a comeback. Twins Cowie pit bikes, a Chevy Trucks KX 250, and the venerable big bore Hulkster himself, the KX 500. Definitely rip your house off the foundation with this one. Sweet 80 KX 250. The greatest racer of all time, Ricky Carmichael's RC4 Rockstar Makita factory replica. The RM Zilla RM 500 big bore 2-stroke air-cooled monster. And then some early liquid-cooled RMs, the 83, the 82, the 81 RM 125s, a 79 RM 400, a 78 RM 250, and a 79, a 78, and an original aluminum tank 77 RM 125. Hope you enjoyed this walk down memory lane half as much as I had. This is the best weekend of my life. I had such a blast. Hope to see you guys all at Unadilla next year. And if you have a collection you want to sell, give me a call. I'm your Huckleberry. Thanks for watching. Give Uncle Ken a call. Thanks for watching. God bless America.